Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Jack Stern. I'm the principal of Lumenant. We are a company that transforms buildings with energy, lighting, and other technology systems, and we pay for it with the energy savings through an as-a-service finance model. We've experienced 500% growth in the last year and expect about $10 million in revenue this year. I'm going to talk tonight about circadian lighting, a transformative product that can substantially improve health outcomes in senior housing, which includes assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing facilities. How am I doing? All right. So, I think most of us at this point know that modern lighting, as much as it has changed the world, also destroys sleep. It's obviously how we make our money, so I'm loath to criticize it, but the average adult now gets over an hour less sleep than is necessary for good health, and you can blame the constant exposure to blue light for a lot of that. If you're confined indoors and don't experience natural cycles of day and night, like folks in memory care and skilled nursing, then your circadian rhythm gets disrupted, and you may end up walking the halls all night and sleeping all day. Did I go back? Sorry. The key principle here is that light is a drug. So that's a direct quote from Dr. George Brainerd, who's one of the leading researchers in the field. And he says that you need to be exposed to the right type of light at the right type of day in order to have a normal circadian rhythm. You can also tell that in the view of our designer, if you don't get the right doses at the right time, you're either quasi-homeless or you're ready for Wall Street. The basic idea here is that blue light inhibits the production of melatonin, while that nice amber light of sunrise and sunset actually promotes it. Timing is key. So you want warm light, obviously, in the early morning and later in the evening, and bright blue light during the day. So somehow we figured out how to get our cell phones to night shift, right? So they'll go back and forth between blue and amber light. The question we have is, should we be able to make our buildings night shift just like our phones do? So as you could probably guess, the answer to the question of whether we can make a whole building night shift like a phone does is yes. We've worked with our key manufacturer to develop a cloud-connected LED lighting system that creates a mesh network and can be algorithmically controlled to shift between 2700 Kelvin, which is that nice warm amber light, and 5700 Kelvin, which is bright daylight. So we follow the natural cycles of day and night. What you're seeing here is a time-lapse video of that system, what we think is the first such system in existence operating at scale in a senior housing facility. This is Rose Glen Manor in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, which is owned by Affinity Living Group, our largest client and one of the largest operators of senior housing in the country. So the residents wake up nice and easy. By breakfast, they have full daylight brightness and intensity, and then they ramp back down in the evenings and enjoy a restful night. Our goal with this technology is to get it to become approved as a reimbursable medical technology under Medicaid. And we're working on a longitudinal study with the chief medical officer of Affinity and a team of researchers at UNC. We expect to see improvements in sleep, mood, behavior, falls, and participation in activities, and should have shareable data within the next few months. But having a cool technology is great, but we all know that that doesn't necessarily beget you a successful business. Our model is to integrate multiple technologies that meet the identified needs of our clients in a concentrated number of verticals, and to own the installation process. Our biggest vertical is senior housing for a couple of reasons. They have a huge deferred maintenance problem as a sector, and the silver tsunami of baby boomer retirees is going to ensure demand for these services that they stay high for quite a while. So we specialize in this sector by forging a close relationship with Affinity Living Group and running our own crews. We've been able to figure out how to retrofit occupied senior housing buildings with no disruption to operations or safety risks to the residents. We've developed a set of proprietary protocols that are helping us productize service and have been a key selling point with new clients. That combination has fueling explosive growth, 500% in the last year, 300% probably this year. We're going to have a $10 million revenue year, we think, on about 20% net margins. We bootstrapped the company and have essentially no debt. We believe circadian lighting, as well as resident tracking systems that we're developing off the same cloud-based control system, are going to turbocharge that growth. My business partner is an engineer by training who spent his early career at DuPont. I'm a lawyer who spent most of my career in the energy and environment sector. We've both, I'm not going to touch anything. We've both spent the majority of our careers running our own businesses. Together, we've got over 60 years of combined experience. So, last slide. So we've been doing a lot of in-industry sort of person-to-person marketing, but we have the CEO of our biggest client is really an evangelist, sees our success as his success, and he evangelizes with his fellow CEOs. First project's done in January. We've got 8 more in the pipeline for our big client, speccing 3 more, and working with a number of large architecture firms who specialize in this sector to have them spec jobs for us. I think the key takeaway point here, as I'm wrapping up, is just that this is a win-win for everybody. In senior housing, if you can get people to sleep better, then they participate in activities better. If they're more active, they fall less. If they fall less, then the client, in this case, the operator of the senior living facility, avoids lawsuits and keeps his occupancy high. So there's both a humanitarian and a business case here, and we expect that this will be sort of our big growth strategy over the next few years.
Start? Thank you. Good presentation. Is all of your revenue to date with Affinity?
It's not.
So who else?
So we have the Chevalier, which is a company out of Hong Kong, which also owns senior living as well. We've also done a number of smaller jobs for other clients. Affinity is the bulk of our revenue today.
Okay, and at a senior living facility, whether it's Affinity or another one, yep, who is your point of contact? Who is your customer?
So we deal directly with the CEO and the CFO of Affinity. I mean, we're almost an offshoot of them in some ways at this point. But our crews are skilled at dealing with the actual director of that facility, so they know how to go in and talk to them before an installation is going to be done.
Last question for me. So that person, CEO or CFO, who engages you because it saves them potential lawsuits, I think you said, it engages their customers, the elderly, better.
Yep.
If they don't go with you, what else are they doing to solve that problem?
In terms of falls and
sure,
engagement, I mean, look, there are a lot of people out. I mean, there are certain other companies that are selling circadian systems. They don't have the same control, which is what we really like about this system. Lots of people will tell you that they can control falls in other ways, but just as a point of contact, the CFO of Affinity told us that their insurer contacted them after we had been just doing straight up LED lighting retrofits and thought that they had stopped reporting falls data. So because they saw the rate go down so much.
How much was it?
So how much was the rate of decline? He didn't give me that specific figure, but he did tell me that for every 10 falls, they have 1 lawsuit, and that lawsuit will cost them $250,000 to settle.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Could you explain a little bit more how you create the energy savings arbitrage?
So for us, in energy as a service, right? You're not trying to to guarantee a specific level of savings. Typically, you're replacing a light fixture that right now draws 100 watts, and it's going to draw 20 watts when you're done with that retrofit. So just by virtue of math, if they keep using the building in the same way, there's going to be a significant energy savings. And we have a software program that will spit out all those calculations. So what we are guaranteeing is a specific level of energy usage from any fixture that we put in the building.
And you said your revenue model was to have the client pay you based on that savings.
No, the payment is fixed, okay? So we're able to demonstrate to them up front, based upon the equipment that we're replacing and the equipment that we're replacing with, what the difference in their energy bills should be. The performance guarantee is to the wattage draw of the equipment rather than to 18% energy savings. That's too hard to control for. That's a traditional ESCO model. And that requires a 200-page contract. We have a very simple contract that is really, it's a performance guarantee for the technology itself.
And what's
we're not taking, just to be clear, we're not taking a fee from that savings. Our proposition to the client is that once we are done retrofitting your building, your energy bills will go down.
Okay.
And it will cover the payments that you make on a monthly basis.
Okay, thanks.
Right?
Could you explain the technology a little bit more? So are you saying that the owner kind of controls when the light changes, or how does this work?
So right now, one of the things we've developed is the algorithm to operate this system. So as I mentioned, each light has a control system in it. It creates a mesh network. There's one gateway that uploads to the cellular data network, and that's how we control the system. Right now, in this particular project, we're controlling that system from our offices. We have another client, they want to control it from their data room, so we'll work with them on the particular algorithm that they think is appropriate for that building, and then they'll be the ones who monitor their system on an ongoing basis.
I'm just curious, how would you compare the cost of what you're doing to the traditional LED retrofit of the building?
So we've done 60 plus retrofits, just straight up LED retrofits. It is more expensive. There's no question about that. And so if you were doing new construction, it's probably $1,500 more than a regular LED retrofit.
$1,500
per resident. Sorry, if you were looking at a 60-bed facility, it would cost you about $90,000 difference. But that's part of the reason we're trying to get this to be an approved reimbursable technology under Medicaid, is because you can easily recoup that. I mean, there are other ways to monetize that, right? Just as I was mentioning in terms of the falls.
Okay, real quick, because I think we're almost out of time. Where are you with your fundraising?
So we bootstrapped the company. We own, my partner and I own 100% of it. Our real need right now is actually, and I skipped over that because of technology problems, but we're actually looking for project finance partners. We're talking to several of them right now. The IP that we're developing on this tracking system that works off the lighting system, which is probably a topic for the next pitch night, is probably where we're going to be looking more for equity partners. Good. Thanks, Jack. Good. Thanks, Dave.